I'm going to be starting in a cat-cow position, checking in with our spine and seeing how cat-cow feels tonight. So palms directly under the shoulders, spine to ceiling, squeezing the abs, rib cage in. Inhale in the cow. Starting off slow with a smaller range of movement until you mobilize. Inhale in the cow, pushing the belly out on the inhale. And one more. Good. Let's bring our palms a little bit further forward than our shoulders, just so we're not straining the wrists too much, because we're going to be spending some time on the wrists tonight. Donkey kicks, leading with the heel of the foot, distributing your weight evenly over the left and the right side, so you're not just dumping in one hip. Make sure that it's distributed evenly. Coming down with control, let's see if you can connect to the core, so rib cage in. Tuck your belly button into spine. Have a poke around as well in your lower core, just below the belly button. Make sure there's some sort of tension there. Get used to how it feels. Looking for 12 to 15, or as many as you can. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, down. Just start to feel a warm sensation on that bum cheek then with the leg that's coming up. Squeeze the bum cheek as hard as you can at the top of the position. Good. Another 3, 2, 1. Good. Same leg, or you can rest into fire hydrants, but feet together, knee coming up as far as you can. Again, make sure you're not just dumping in that one hip that's stabilising you. You're keeping your weight over both sides of your body. Connect to that core again. It's normal to feel a burning on the opposite side as well. As many as you can, or another 6, 5, 4. All pelvic strengthening. One more. Good. We're going to extend the leg out and big rainbow, bigger movement as possible, keeping the hips as still as you can. So all the movement, limb disassociation, so you're just moving the leg, nothing else. That's the aim. Total of 12 times. Hopefully the opposite side, the stabilizing legs, a little bit on fire now. 5, 4, 2, 1. Good. This time, last exercise on this side. You're extending your leg as far out as you can, back to the back, and then out. So your knee is faced forward as much as possible. So feel a stretch in the hamstrings as well, as many as you can, or 10. This is quite hard. Another 5. 4, good. 3, 2 more, keep that leg up. 1 more. Good, child's pose, let's go nice and wide to open them hips up. Inhale and exhale as you sink to the floor, forehead to the floor if you can, and bum to your heels. And we can rock our forehead left and right, if that feels good for the neck. Pushing your belly out on the inhale, get all that oxygen in, and on the exhale, sink further into this stretch, relaxing more. Good, same again, same leg, so we're progressing it, making it difficult, or if you're not ready to progress it, you can swap over to the other leg, but if you are progressing it, we're going to drop the reps. So we start with donkey kicks. Last time we did 15, we're going for 12, or as many as you can. bringing them forearms a little bit further forward than your shoulders. So this is forcing a cat-cow position, anterior posterior tilt of the pelvis, getting blood flow to the lower back and placenta. Squeezing, clenching for a split second at the top of the movement. 3, 2, 1. Good. Fire hydrants, feet together, coming all the way up and all the way down. Five, 4, 2. Good. Into rainbows, extending the leg big, semicircles, left and right, looking for another 10. And when you finish your last rep, we're going for 6 of the leg side extension. 6 or as many as you can. Keeping that leg up as high as you can. Excellent. Another 4, 3, 2. One more. Good. Nice and wide for child's pose. If you want it to go a little bit wider, feel free. And you can circle off them wrists, just giving them a break and lubricating the wrists. Okay, let's see how I get on with the other side. So opposite side now, donkey kicks, 15 to start us off. So this is opening up the hip flexors. On that side. Coming down with control, not letting gravity bully you any faster than you want to come down. 3, 2, 1. Good. Feet together, fire hydrants, 12. 2. You've got lots of little spindly muscles in and around the hip joint, so we're just keeping them all strong. So take note of any niggles or any weaknesses that you feel. It's just a flag that needs to be worked on, and we're hitting it right now, but if you need to rest, it's absolutely fine, or reduce the range of movement. 3. One more. Good, extending the leg. 15 of these, this is the first round. Can you connect to the core? 10, good. 2 more. Good. And then I'm going over to the leg extension. So from back to side, keeping that leg up. Going for 8. Good, I feel that in the core. When you finish last rep, child's pose. If you want to get a deeper stretch, now we've done a bit of warming up, you can face the feet out for the frog stretch, as long as your knees feel okay, or just go into child's pose. And pushing your hips closer to the floor. It's a bit awkward on the knees, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'm a bit tight in that joint as well. But you're trying to get deep, you feel it's deep in the hip joint. So as long as it's all right on the knees, just try and relax and around the hips. It's really good for mobility and opening up that joint, having you feel looser off. And if that feels okay, you can bring in little circles with the hips. So you're sinking left, right, up, down, and getting further in there, like a little massage in the inner hip joint. Change direction. Good. So notice how that feels. Okay. Last round, dropping the reps. Or you can swap over if you didn't do the same leg. Donkey kicks, 12. One second up, 2 seconds down. Couple more, going for 12. Then when you finish your last rep, feet together, fire hydrants, 12. Don't dump in that one hip, distribute your weight over both sides. Head into rainbows when you finish the last rep. Another 12. And you finish last rep. Last 8 of the leg side extension. Last 3. And you finish the last one. Go into child's pose or into frog. As wide as you can with the knees if you're going in frog or child's pose. If you're in frog, feel free to bring in a little circle with the hips, forward, side and back. Notice how that feels, hopefully quite nice and like a little massage in the inner hip joint. Change direction. Good, bringing the feet together back into a cat-cow. Exhale on the cat. Stay here, or you can tuck your toes under to down dog. Don't worry about your heels if they're not on the mat. Pushing your hips up to the ceiling for that high hamstring stretch. Putting your head between your biceps, releasing the tension in your lower back. So untuck the tailbone so your hips come to the sky, if that makes sense. You can paddle your heels out for a stretch of the calves and Achilles. Bend more at the knee if you want to feel more of a stretch in the Achilles. It's quite hilly Scotland, so it's important that we do these lower calf stretches. Good. Feel free to grab a drink as we move over to our backs. Okay, coming into semi-supine position. That's there if you wanted that. There's also blocks here as well if anybody wants a block. I'll find a way to incorporate them. Okay, so let's warm up, continue working the glutes. So heels quite close to the glutes, the bum cheeks, squeezing the bum cheeks and having your hips in alignment with the rest of your body. And your hands can just hold the sides of the mat or just relax and come down. So we're going to do 20 altogether. But I want you to pause at the top for a bum squeeze. So make sure you're contracting them glutes, because you could quite easily do this without really using the bum, but we're over exaggerating it and getting it switched on. It's the strongest muscle group in the body, so it needs hammered. So we've worked it already, and now we're working with gravity now. Nice and controlled, coming down. If you feel like you're getting a cramp in your hamstrings in the back of your legs at all, or your calves, try stretching it out, but try changing the foot placement as well, either more forwards or closer to the hips. That's quite common. Getting it. Feeling the stretch in the front of the thigh, the hip flexors. Another 5, 4. Hopefully you're starting to feel a warm sensation in the bum cheeks, usually in the lower. 2. So you can either pause at the top and hold, or you can release. I'm going to hold for 10, 9, 8. Deep breaths. 5, 3, 2, 1, and release. You can bring it in for a hug and roll side to side. Same again, going for another 20 when you're ready. Weight should be in the heels of the feet, not the toes. And toes should be pointing forwards. So straight away I'm feeling that. 4. Aiming for another 20. You're trying to hold on to that burn, try and ignore it for as long as you can. See if you can try and keep the connection in your glutes and not switch them off at all, even when they're on the floor. Make sure you are coming all the way back down to the floor, getting full range of movement. 5, 4, 2, 1. Hold, or you can rest for 10, 9, 5, 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good. Knees in, hug and roll, side to side. Good. And make it more difficult. So you can do that again. Feel free, because you're still using the same muscles that we're training, but we're wanting to load. Should I say, I'm wanting to load. Let's isolate one glute, so there's more work on it, more weight. So I'm going to extend the leg, or you can keep it bent. I'm going to make sure your hips are coming up at the same time, as high as you can, squeezing that bum cheek and down. So pause at the top and down. So 10's a lot for these, but if you can only manage 4 or 6, that's good as well. Get your starting point. It's just coming up as high as you can. It's difficult. Another 2. 1 more, and then you can release it, or you can hold it. If you hold in, 10, 9, 8, 7, let it burn, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Well done. That was a quick second. Next, 10 on the other bum cheek, all the way up, all the way down. Make sure your vertebrae is all coming down at the same time, okay? You're not bending at the lower back. Weight should be in the heel. 5. 10, and hold. 10, 9, deep breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Well done. Knees in for a hug and roll. Excellent. Let's bring our feet together and sit with our knees open. If that feels okay for you, just try and relax and sink into the stretch in the inner groin. So it's normal to tense up in the inner groin, but if you hold it, you should be able to start switching and relaxing them muscles. Notice more discomfort or maybe more tightness on one side than the other. Sit with it. It shouldn't be painful, just discomfort. Good, bringing our knees together. So next we're going to work on pelvic tilt, which is antenatal safe. So rib cage tucked in, belly button down into spine, fully imprinting into the mat, like you're hugging the baby or hugging your organs for us. So squeezing as hard as you can, flattening that lower back curve. Hold that. Then as you bring your pelvis forward, so let's open up that back curve so you can fit your hand underneath it. But the trick is to keep that tension in your core. Okay, so you can have a gentle poke around, coming forwards and backwards with movement, but you've got that tension in your core throughout that tilting. It's protecting your lower back. It's really important. It's pushing against. And eventually, you should know how that feels when it's switched on. And you should start to get a deep ache after about 12, 15. Keep going. Another 10. Make sure you're holding that tension. Keep poking around the sides of the stomach as well. When it switches off, it's ever so subtle. Good. Inhale, arms to rise. Fill in the full lungs, using the diaphragm and ribs as rise. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Again. One more. Going over to dead bugs. Again, if you wish, antenatal safe. So dead bugs, arms and legs up to the ceiling, imprinting fully in the back. You can stay here, or if you want to bring in a little movement. But you're keeping the tension like a plank, like someone's punching you in the stomach, it's burning. Concentrate, where do you feel that burn or that ache? That's where you're working right now. Keeping the strength. Deep breaths. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, and release. Inhale, arms rise. Slowly exhale. Slower you exhale, the more calming it is to the central nervous system. Another one for 3. So feel free to continue with the breaths or those 2 ab exercises. If you want to progress it with me, legs straight up. Hands pushing down into the ground to bring your hips up off the floor for 20 hip kicks. Leading with the hips, coming down with control, 1 vertebrae at a time to load that lower core. Deep breaths. Kind of get a momentum going. Even if your hips aren't coming off the floor yet, still do it because you're going to get stronger. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale, arms rise. One of my clients couldn't do that for the longest time. She's got osteoporosis and arthritis in her lower back, and her lower back's jammed. Well, today was the day that she was doing it. So it's possible, if you've got a strong core and strong structure, will support the bony parts. One more deep breath. Good. Legs in bent tabletop. Again, imprint your spine, so no curve in the lower back. Stay here, deep breaths, or you can touch one foot at a time. Keeping the tension in the core, so have a poke, make sure there's tension. And make sure you breathe as that increases blood pressure. So deep breaths. 14, 13, 12. 10. Keep that back flat. Keep checking in with that lower back. Is it all on the floor? Make sure it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Semi-supine. Inhale, arms rise. One more. Last one for the rectus abdominis, the six-pack muscle, legs open to tabletop, hands behind head to support the neck, not pull on it though. Coming in for a crunch, hips off the floor and out as far as you feel comfortable, keeping that core connection. As many as you can, or 15. Exhale, coming close to the knees. Inhale, out. Good. Five, 3, 2. One more. Let it burn. Excellent. A few seconds rest. Grab a drink. Going to move over to the sides of the stomach next. Yeah, so these are antenatal safe as well, as long as everything feels okay. So just reduce the range of movement if you're struggling, but elbow directly under the shoulder. Knees bent for reps. So we're going to come up into side plank dip. We're going to strengthen the hip area and the pelvic girdle with clamshells. Looking for 12 or as many as you can. Feet together, pausing at the top, using the glutes and really working to stabilize and strengthen that pelvis to keep our walking stable. Deep breaths and spine, obviously. 5, 4, 3, 2. One more. Good. A few seconds rest. You can rest here or come into side plank dips for an additional 15. You can use your hand to bring yourself up and then slowly come down as well. It's your other option. 5, all the way down. Another 5, 4, 2, 1. Bottom knee comes forward, top knee back for a stretch on that side that we've just worked. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, moving over, relaxing the neck. And pushing your rib cage away from your hip on that side. Shoulders down, away from ears. And sit with that stretch on the sides of the stomach as far over as you can go. Excellent. Let's swap over to the other side. Side plank clamshells, elbow directly under the shoulder. Check in with your starting position. 15, Even that hip up as high as you can. Really good for that piriformis, if I didn't say so already. Another 3, 2, 1. Good, rest here, or you can go into side plank dips at 15, squeezing, curving the sides of the stomach at the top. Exhale, coming down. Couple more. Good. When you finish the last one, bottom knee comes forward for that stretch. Inhale to rise. Shoulders down and relaxed away from ears. Good. From here, we're going to go into the pigeon pose to stretch off our nice warm glutes. So, first of all, legs should be straight at the back. And you want to be in the center. From here, you can progress it by bringing your foot up to make it harder. But as long as you're feeling it in that glute that you're sitting on, you're trying to deep breaths and sink your hips into the floor and let go of any tension, which takes a few seconds, even a few minutes if you're quite stressed, tight, or if you've done loads of activity today. If that feels okay and you want to progress it, you can go onto your elbows or even your block. So every inhale pushes the belly out, but you out of the stretch slightly. And then the next exhale, you sink further in and you let go and relax a little bit more into it. Just sitting with that mild discomfort in the glute. You might feel it in the front of the back leg as well. That's fine. Stay here, or if you know you've got tight hip flexors here from sitting down or standing or anything, you can progress it by flexing that back leg and you'll feel the stretch in the front of the thigh. Or you can stay exactly where you are. Again, try and sink your hips into the ground. Get that breath in and it'll bring in relaxation. Very powerful. Good, let's swap over when you're ready, take your time. So straightening that back leg first, get in position, a bend in the knee, make sure you're feeling it in the glute and you're in the center. So everyone's got one side better than the other, this seems to be mine, so. And then make your way over to your elbows if that feels okay. Just try not to get pulled off center. Relax your thigh and sink in. And if you want to progress it with a back hip flexor, feel free to grab hold. Then we're going to make our way onto our backs for one of my favourites, a spinal twist. Don't do much of this movement, we get quite tight around the glutes and the pelvis area. So knees up and over to the left, and you're over to the right. So first of all, before you progress it, both shoulder blades should be on the mat. From here, just settle in. go through your body and just have a feel where's tense right now and try and relax those muscles. Notice where you're feeling it and allow yourself to sink further in. So inhale, push your belly out. And then the exhale, sink further in. And you'll begin to release tension. If you want to progress this one more and feel more of a lower back stretch and around the hip, extend that top leg and you can grab hold of it. So make sure that your hips are stacked on top of each other if you're doing that as well, as much as possible anyway. Use your breath. And keep going through your body, noticing how it feels. You're trying to become a dead weight and sink into the mat. So very likely your back's got tension and is tensed up in teeny tiny places, really deep in. So keep searching for any sign that it is and try and switch it off. Sink your midsection around your bra into the floor more. Two more deep breaths. Okay. Carefully take your time, bending your knees, moving over to the other side. See how you feel on this side. Settle in first before progressing. Knees and hips should be stacked. And shoulder blades on the floor. Use your breath. If you want to increase the stretch, extend that top leg. Can your foot touch the side of the floor on that side, sorry? Try and switch those muscles off again, the lower and upper back, around the shoulders. Allow yourself to feel the stretch. Big inhales, filling the lungs, and slowly exhaling. Letting your body know it's safe. And come out of that stretch and have a big stretch in Shavasana. So legs straight, arms straight, big stretch like you've just got out of bed. Deep breaths. I'm going to bring our arms down by our sides, palms face the ceiling. As we begin to settle into Shavasana, corpse pose, some guided relaxation. I want you to notice how your breath feels and just observe this at the moment. Making a conscious effort to not just use the belly to breathe, but to use the diaphragm and your ribs and your chest, feeling them rise as well on the inhale. Pause with full lungs on the inhale before slowly exhaling, feeling your chest fall and then your stomach, your belly empty. Notice how your body feels on the mat and the weight of it into the ground as you sink further into it. Notice how the heels of your feet feel, the backs of your calves and your glutes beginning to feel heavier, and your shoulders, the back of your head. Relax your jaw, and that will relax your facial muscles as well. The backs of your shoulders and arms and hands sinking into the floor. Deep breaths. Inhale for 2, pause for 2, exhale for 3, your own count. I want you to visualize your big toe on your left foot and how that looks. Do you have nail varnish on right now? Which direction it's pointing? What does your small toe on the right look like? Does it feel relaxed? How does it feel? How does your right ankle feel right now? And your left knee? Is it relaxed? Big breaths. The cooling on the inhale, feel that. You can listen to the rain on the windows. Notice your environment. How the air temperature feels. Breathe. Every time you notice a thought come into your mind, notice it, but then just come back to the breath and how your body feels in the mat. It takes practice. Every inhale, feeling the cool in the nose and the throat, and the exhale, feeling the warmth. Sinking further into the mat. Have a gap between your mouth. Visualize your left hand. Is it clenched? Is it relaxed? Is it facing the ceiling? How do your fingers look and your thumb? Are they touching? Every exhale, letting go further away from the things that don't serve you. Take your time coming back into the seated position. We're going to begin some pranayama relaxation breath work. So I want to do box breathing, which is similar to what we've just done there. Just to get you ready for bed. So palms face the ceiling. You can come into a mudra if you like, or they can just relax. And your forearms on your knees. Sitting tall, you can sit on a block if that's easier for you. Into any seated position. So make sure you're sitting tall, chest proud, and your vertebrae stacked. So it's hard at first, but you do get used to it. Shoulder blades back. Just settle into this position. Again, observing your breath. You can bring your hands to your stomach, and on the inhale, pushing your belly out, relaxing it on the inhale. But I also want you to feel your chest rise. So first, on the inhale, you push your belly out, then your chest to bring that oxygen in. Pause for 2 seconds and slowly exhale, feeling your chest fall and then your belly empty. Inhale for 2. Pause for 2 with those full lungs, and then slowly exhale for 2. And then before you breathe in again, I want you to pause for 2. That's the box. Your own count. Inhale for 2, feeling your belly rise and then your chest. Pause and slowly exhale. Chest falls and belly empties. In that order. That's yogic breathing. It's very calming and relaxing. And because you're concentrating on how to breathe like this, you're not thinking about anything else. And if you are, try and bring it back to your breath. It's not a big deal. It's a skill. Let's move over to counts of 3 next for all 4. So inhale for any count of 3, seconds or whatever. Pause with full lungs for 3. Exhale for 3. And then pause again for 3 before inhaling again. Notice the rain sounds. And when things get overwhelming, always bring it back to the breath and how your body feels. It brings you back to the present instead of thrusting you into the future or the past. Things are simpler in the present. Two more big breaths. 4 in, pause for 4, exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Namaste. Thanks for coming tonight. Hope you sleep well. If you got any feedback, come and see me after class.